Hello, I'm Megan Ennis of the Shared Value Initiative, which is an open online community of over 3,000 shared value leaders who find business opportunities in societal challenges. Today is our second installment in a series where we'll be interviewing some of those leaders who are in the trenches of shared value planning and implementation. So I have with me today Maureen Sidonian, who is President and CEO of Goodwill Industries of San Francisco, San Mateo, and Marin counties in California here in the United States. So while this Goodwill chapter is operating as a nonprofit, Maureen's chapter describes itself as a social enterprise that's also an unexpected exemplar of shared value. So Maureen, it's great to have you with us.
Thanks so much, Megan. It's great to be here. So as you said, I'm the president and CEO of the San Francisco, San Mateo, Marin County Goodwill chapters, and we're one of 168 actually Goodwill chapters around the world, but 165 here in the United States. And each functions as its own standalone nonprofit 501c3 social enterprise. It's actually one of the oldest social enterprises initiatives in the United States. But all the Goodwills work to put folks that have very high barriers to employment back to work. And our chapter focuses primarily on a population that has been chronically unemployed, so due to incarceration, homelessness, issues with addiction, new immigrants, or displacement from another country or from a workforce sector. And often our folks find themselves on public assistance. These men and women are ready to accept the challenge to get back to work, to get their lives back on track, to learn new skills, to build their resumes, to gain self-sufficiency through the power of work. Last year, we placed over 600 folks through our Goodwill enterprise in jobs and sustainable employment, and we're very proud of that. And we funded these programs by running our e-commerce business, our retail stores, our salvage and aftermarket recycling businesses, computer refurbishment, and other business lines. And through that, we offered all kinds of on-the-job, contextualized learning opportunities for folks to get ready to go back to work.
Great. That does a great job of summing up what you guys do over there at your independent chapter of Goodwill. So let's jump right in and talk about how your work intersects with the shared value concept specifically. So why don't you tell us a story of how the shared value approach came about at your Goodwill?
Sure. So, I think it's important to acknowledge the history of Goodwill, this Goodwill, which is almost 100 years ago it was started. In 2016, we'll celebrate our 100th year anniversary. But Goodwill has been turning unwanted textiles, home goods, etc., into jobs for people that society's been ready to cast off. And we don't believe that anything or anybody should go to waste. So by reselling, repurposing, and recycling things that might otherwise get thrown out after a single use, our Goodwill diverts 21 million pounds a year from landfill. And we just here in the San Francisco Bay Area. And last year we posted revenues of almost $40 million from that activity. So we knew we could do more. So we realized that many people were discarding clothing, they were putting stuff in the trash instead of donating it to Goodwill because it was easy to do that. So part of that and part of our initiative and the shared value with the Mayor's Office of Innovation and the Mayor's Office of the Environment was to come together and say, what can we do to really raise awareness about that while also helping folks get out of poverty through our businesses? So we were accounting for about 4,500 pounds of textiles entering the San Francisco landfill every hour. And so in our urban areas in particular, convenience is what matters to a donor. People give because it's easy. They don't think like, oh, I like this charity better than that charity. I want to do, they do it because it's easy. So we had to find a way to make this donating more convenient. So we started to develop a new business venture that really hit upon the idea of how do we create a modern tech-enabled donation bin here in our little tech gulch in San Francisco that we could utilize in high-rise, high-density buildings where many folks were high income, and also in our downtown business areas where folks who were coming in from our suburban communities in San Mateo and Marin could actually put stuff in their trunk, bring it to their garage at their law firm or at their organization and dispose of it, and also then create the jobs. So we call that the Go Bin. And we were able to partner with a private sector company called Frog Design, which is one of the global leaders in product design and they created a prototype for us to put this in buildings. It's a very beautiful box that is very state of the art, and it would be worthy of being placed in a lobby because it really is a piece of art. And the Go Bin has a QR code that enables donors to receive a tax receipt right there by scanning their phone on a QR code. It has a sensor that will ping Goodwill and let us know when it's full, and we can come and pick it up and take it away. So it lowers our carbon footprint and sort of has all of these multiplier effects that really bring this intersection of how do we create impact, and also how do we engage the private sector, the public sector, and the nonprofit sector in a solution to something that we're all experiencing here in the Bay Area.
That's great. It's really interesting how you were able to kind of take that tech environment that you're in and really translate this impact to them. And I see actually that you have this a picture of the Go Bin right behind you.
I do, the beautiful Go Bin right here. And we'll be sure to put that up online as well. And it gives people a chance to donate and do good without leaving their building or just as they get out of their car. And it performs that public service, but it also helps our bottom line and our mission. And we'll not only receive more donations that will help us fund our job placement and training programs, but higher quality donations thanks to the design of and the placement of the bin. And it also gives us an enormous opportunity to really grow and expand our e-commerce business, which to this point we've sort of bootstrapped with no outside venture funding. But we're also now able to train, a team of 20 to 50 people in e-commerce so that they can go on to more better, and sustainable jobs in the e-commerce business as that grows across the country. So innovations like the Go Bin, we're not only able to help San Francisco, the Mayor's Office of the Environment and Innovation, reach their zero landfill waste goal by 2020, but we're also able to simultaneously prepare people to be trained for good paying e-commerce jobs, to continue to grow our ability to place still even more people in jobs, relevant employment, and really ultimately grow our revenue and therefore grow our mission and our impact in the community. So as you can tell, I'm pretty darn excited about this. It's an example of shared value right here in our own backyard with a triple bottom line impact.
Great, and it sounds like that's how you're measuring the those early indicators of success. And it sounds like you guys are, you mentioned earlier that there are indicators of success on both the social and the social side with the environmental impact and the job creation, but then also for you in your e-commerce business too. So that's a great example of shared value.
Absolutely, and it's one of those things that in this final prototype phase with the Go Bin, our intention is not only to sort of saturate our local market with the bins, but we're also going to manufacture them locally, sell them through the Goodwill network across the U.S. and scale it to again really maximize the impact, but sort of share the shared value, if you will, so as other Goodwills sort of engage in this strategy as well. And we have over 35 right now who are ready to do this across the country. They're going to build relationships with their partners, both on the environmental side by diverting all of this stuff from landfill. They're going to be able to build their own e-commerce business and create more jobs. And they're really going to be able to help the common citizen, if you will, say, you know what, I'm not just giving this because I want to get rid of it and it's easy and it's a pretty box, but they're going to be also able to say, and I'm putting somebody back to work, and this is going to create jobs. And I think that for us, that sort of triple bottom line is so critical to who we are and what we're about. And we've gotten inquiries from Europe and Central America and Asia and Canada and Australia. So there's just a real firestorm underneath the desire for these things to happen. And our hope is that we can reduce textile, out of landfill and take that 5.7% of landfill waste that's there and, release decrease the amount of CO2 and other things that impact our environment, and then grow those jobs for people in need. And this sort of trifecta of people coming together to really have an impact is pretty darn exciting.
That's great. That is really exciting, and how successful, just with the interest it's been so far is really great. And actually, that seems like a great place to wrap up. It was great talking to you today, Maureen, and thanks so much for taking the time and telling the Shared Value Initiative community about your work at Goodwill in San Francisco.
Yeah, my pleasure. And I just want to leave everybody with a challenge because that's just kind of gal I am. So what I want to say is we want to invite the private sector and philanthropy and business community. What if you invested in innovative social enterprise and with a proven track record and became a part of this conversation in your community with GoBins and really were able to have that kind of shared value and that collective impact that we're all seeking out in the world today. So get to it, folks.
We certainly will.
All right.
We like calls to action around here, and and so actually, so for all of our viewers, I just have a quick call to action to you too. In addition to going out and creating shared value in the world, you can read a brief case example of the GoBin initiative at the Goodwill of San Francisco, and find other examples of shared value in action at sharedvalue.org. If you're interested also to learn more about shared value, we welcome you to join this thriving community and connect with leaders like Maureen, who's a community member, and to stay current with the newest research. Thank you so much for watching.